What do you think Jesus actually thinks about the church? You've probably got your opinions on it, I've got mine, but wouldn't it be nice to know what Jesus actually thinks? Well, in this video, we're gonna uncover the truth about what Jesus would say if he could say anything to the church today. Well, Corey, how is that possible? I'll show you. But first, hi. My name is Corey, and I'm an ordained minister and church planter, and I'm the pastor of RedeemerOnline.church, which is the channel you're watching right now. And if you're interested in how to understand and practice the Christian faith, especially if you don't go to church right now, you're in the right spot. That's what we're all about. I want to help you rediscover Christianity in a way that actually makes sense for your life. And if that's interesting to you, then go ahead and hit the subscribe button for more. Now, why did the thumbnail of this video say Reading Revelation? Because it's the go-to book whenever the world feels chaotic, whether it's political upheaval or global instability. But I think all too often, people ask the wrong questions of it, focusing on doomsday scenarios rather than the deeper truths that the book offers. Is this the end of the world? Is this the mark of the beast? Are they actually the Antichrist? And that results in apocalyptic answers that are really dissatisfying and usually pretty unhelpful. But the book of Revelation did something for its readers for nearly 300 years before it was ever included in the Bible. And this series is all about finding out if it can do that same something in our seasons of chaos and confusion. We left off last time with this fever dream of a cosmic Christ, ready to do battle against evil in the unseen realm and bring judgment on the earth, and to be present with the church. It's an image of Jesus that was designed to inspire courage in the original readers of the text. And now, knowing that he's present, Jesus has something to say to those churches. And while he's going to address specific churches in specific cities, John chose to have 7 addresses, which is an apocalyptic number of completeness, meaning that his words are going to be for the whole church in all times and places. And you'll recognize as we go through each one of these messages that Jesus ends up critiquing issues that have plagued churches for centuries. Each church receives a similarly structured address. First, Jesus identifies himself with some aspect of the cosmic description from the end of Revelation 1. Then he'll offer an affirmation, then some critique, then a warning, and then a promise. His first address is to the church in Ephesus. These are the words of him who holds the 7 stars in his right hand and walks among the 7 golden lampstands. I know your deeds, your hard work, and your perseverance. I know that you cannot tolerate wicked people, that you have tested those who claim to be apostles but are not, and have found them false. You have persevered and have endured hardship for my name and have not grown weary. That's the affirmation. Hey, you hold fast to the truth, to right doctrine. You're passionate about making sure everyone knows what the right things are to believe. And that's not a bad thing. I mean, what you believe about God, about yourself, about the world, it has a big impact on how you choose to live in the world and how to handle suffering. Being careful about who you give influence to over your beliefs matters. And look, that's not easy, especially when rejecting a particular influence causes you hardship. So good on you. However, here comes the critique. Yet I hold this against you. You have forsaken the love you had at first. Consider how far you've fallen. Repent and do the things you did at first. Okay, what's he talking about here? Well, the critique is that you've gotten so caught up in believing the right things that you've forgotten to genuinely love the one who came to show you the way, the truth, and the life. Now, don't over-romanticize this. It's not about conjuring warm fuzzies for Jesus. It's about the content of your life and your action. Love for Jesus, according to his own teaching, was best expressed and demonstrated in love for your neighbor. The word for love here is the Greek word agape. It's about self-sacrifice for the sake of someone else, which means the critique is simply, hey, you've prioritized doctrine over a devotion to loving your neighbor. You're so set on making sure everyone believes the right things that you've fallen away from the importance of doing the right things. Can you think of any churches who have this problem? Hey, don't get me wrong, belief matters, but doctrine at the expense of doing is problematic. In fact, it's so problematic that Jesus says, if you do not repent, I will come to you and remove your lampstand from its place. Now listen, repent just means to turn around. It means stop going the way you're going, turn around and go this way instead. If you don't repent, I'll remove your lampstand, says Jesus. I'll remove your witness on earth. Now, I think this is wild. You can believe every right doctrine, But if you fail to prioritize loving your neighbor as Jesus loved you, your light gets removed. But you have this in your favor. You hate the practices of the Nicolaitans, which I also hate. Look, there's no time in a video like this to get to it, but essentially, we don't know who the Nicolaitans were or what their beliefs or practices were. There's a few mentions of them in the early church father writings, and they'll come up again later in the book of Revelation, but for the most part, it's all speculation. You could feel free to go down that rabbit hole. I mean, I did. It's pretty interesting. Maybe I'll do a video about it later, but we don't have time to cover it here. Then Jesus ends with this promise. Whoever has ears, let them hear what the Spirit says to the churches. To the one who's victorious, I will give the right to eat from the tree of life, which is in the paradise of God. This is Jesus' message to the church in Ephesus. And in the city of Ephesus was the temple of the goddess Artemis. And inside the temple was a beautiful garden area. And inside that garden was a special tree. So special that it was imprinted elsewhere throughout the city, like on Ephesian coins. And if you were in trouble, say running from the law or something, you could go to that tree, and so long as you were there, you couldn't be arrested or have your life ended. Jesus takes that image of safety and repurposes it for the Ephesian church. The one who's victorious or who overcomes, I'll give the right to eat from the tree of life, which is in the garden of God. So how do you overcome? How do you overcome the chaos and confusion and suffering? Well, this might shock you. And it might be upsetting to all the Theo bros out there, but it's not through believing the right things. It's doing that makes the difference. If you want to overcome the chaos, it's not right doctrine at the expense of all else. It's about returning to a practice of self-sacrificial love for your neighbor. This was Jesus' message to the church in Ephesus, but I think it's just as relevant today. So, what about you? Are you living out a faith that prioritizes love or doctrine? Let me know in your thoughts in the comments below. And if you're ready for more insights from Revelation, don't forget to subscribe because we'll be getting to the next church in the next video. See you then.